Today's show about traditional Puerto Rican pasteles would not be possible if I wasn't able to find these wonderful Goya products in my local supermarket. Hopefully Goya will like to sponsor us one day with some of our recipes. Okay, like you heard, we're going to make traditional Puerto Rican pasteles, which is it's after Thanksgiving. We're getting ready to get into the Christmas season, and that is a staple food at any gathering in any of the Puerto Rican community. It's just a thing that everybody will have on their table during Christmas season. Just open them up a little bit. They do have quite a bit of meat on them. But what I'm more interested in is using this as a stock for a liquid that we're going to use to loosen up the masa. So we got our pork bones. Let me wash my hands. Our first chance to impart flavor into these pasteles. And what we're going to do is we're going to season them with a little salt. Again, this is our stock. This is going to be our stock. I have Goya adobo, which is an all-purpose seasoning. This one is the one with cumin. I like that one with the cumin. We're going to throw that on here and season this pork up. Just like that. And some pepper. Wow, that cumin. I love the smell of cumin. This is going we're going to roast this off in the oven at 400 degrees for about 45 minutes until these bones are nice and golden brown. And we're doing that just to make the stock. So let me get it in the oven. 45 minutes later. Okay, the timer for our pork bones has gone off. And I'm going to get them out of the oven. They look beautiful. I threw them in there with a little bit of garlic and some onion that I had left over. And we're going to put them in the pot here. I've got a nice stock pot here. And we're going to put these all in the stock pot. With all the juice that's on the bottom here. Beautiful. And we're going to cover this with water. Then I'm going to add a bay leaf, a little bit of salt, and we're going to put it on the stove and bring it up to a boil and then reduce it down to a simmer. And we're going to let it simmer for about an hour and a half. I'm going to get that going, and then I'm going to start to show you how we need to prep the vegetables, the bananas, the cassava, the yuca, things like that, to make the masa. So let me get this going and we'll be right back. Okay, our pork stock is going. I threw in a couple of bay leaves, some peppercorns, and a little pinch of salt because I tasted a little bit of the meat and we already had a good amount of salt on the meat, which was pretty good. Now we're going to get into the masa, or the vehicle in which this meat filling that we're going to put in later on, the part that you would compare to a Spanish tamale, a Mexican tamale. That part is made out of a variety of different root and Caribbean vegetables. We've got green bananas, we've got green plantains, we've got yuca, we've got a regular russet, regular baking potato, russet potato. We've got a squash or a cassava, a melon, and usually they'll use either the yuca or they'll use taro or taro root. But you can use a combination of any of these. All you need at that point is a big bowl and a box grater, and we're going to use the fine side. And we're just going to take and we're going to peel our bananas, our green bananas. And unfortunately, you can't do this in a food processor or a food mill or anything like that. The texture just does not translate well at all. This has to be just ground down on this. We used to have little get-togethers around Christmas time, and everybody would take a task. Somebody would grind up the yucca, somebody would grind up the plantains, someone the bananas, and we'd just keep doing this until we all, because we'd make about 100 of these things. We wouldn't just make like, I'm gonna only make maybe 15 or 20 of them. We'd make over 100 for the whole family, because when everybody came over, you'd want to give them 6 or 7 or 8 to take home. So I'm just grinding in the banana in here, and then I'm going to get and grind in one of the green, let me wash my hands. Green plantains are a little bit harder to peel than a regular banana. You have to do it with a knife. Some people take this, throw it in a pot of boiling water until the skin just starts to turn colors, and then you know it's time, it'll come out and it'll peel nice. You just got to slit it right down the side, just like that, and then peel it off. This one's nice, it's coming off real nice. Nice and easy. Sometimes they're not that easy. Beautiful, nice, beautiful green plantain. And we're going to do the same with our green plantain. We're just going to grind it in on the grinder. This is the only way to do this. I've tried food processors. Nothing gives you the same consistency of the final product as using a plain old box grater. So I'm going to finish prepping all of these ingredients here. The melon, it all gets done exactly the same as you see me doing now. Once I have this all ground up and into this pot here, into this bowl, we're going to season it and we're going to put it aside, because this is what we're going to start to dish out to make our pasteles. So I'm going to finish up doing all these vegetables and fruits, and we'll be right back. Okay, another time I want you to see what's going on instead of looking at my beautiful face. This is the consistency and the color you want of this. It's like a wet muffin dough, just like that. And I mixed in the oil. You're supposed to use Achiote oil, which is a colored red oil. I don't have any. I use regular olive oil. 2 tablespoons of milk, a teaspoon of salt, and about a cup of the pork stock that we've been making. So this is going to go in the refrigerator to chill out for a little while, and we're going to get started on making the sofrito for the pork filling. So we'll be right back. Okay, we have here about 3 pounds of cut up Boston butt or pork shoulder. I'm going to cut it a little finer. I'm going to put it in this bowl with a bit of Goya Sofrito, which is an excellent seasoning. You can make your own Sofrito. It's green peppers, oregano, garlic, tomatoes, and a little bit of cilantro and some cumin. I'm gonna use the Goya one because it's quick, it's easy, and it tastes absolutely phenomenal. And then I'm gonna also season this with a little bit of the adobo, also another Goya seasoning, which adds a lot of flavor to the meat. I'm just cutting these up into smaller pieces. It's always best to buy this yourself and cut it up yourself than have the butcher do it. It's a lot less expensive when you do the work. I'm going to put about a half a cup of this sofrito in here. So about half of the jar. Just like that. I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil to it. Just a touch. And I'm going to hit the meat with the adobo, just like this. Like I said, this is going to get boiled. So it's going to get fried real quick and then boiled. So we want it to have a lot of flavor. The adobo's got salt in it, so don't go salting on top of putting the adobo. Mix it all up. Don't be shy, folks. If you want, you can let this meat sit and rest in the refrigerator for about an hour so it can absorb some of these spices a little bit better and a little bit, it'll become a little bit more seasoned, which is what I think I'm going to do to cook in the filling. So we'll be right back. Okay, our meat mixture has been resting for about an hour. I'm going to put it in a nice hot pan over here. This has got a little bit of olive oil, and I'm just going to sear the outside of each one of the pieces of the meat. Once I have them seared, I'm going to put a little bit of the stock that we've been cooking off for 2.5, 3 hours in there, and we're going to create sort of like a stew. And then that's going to boil down, and we're going to be left with this lovely meat mixture that is just going to melt in your mouth as soon as you go to eat it. So, let's see, our pan is hot enough. Okay, our pan's coming up to temperature. I got a little bit of oil in there. I'm going to take each piece and I'm just going to sear it. You don't want to crowd the pan, because otherwise then you're just steaming the meat. I want to sear it on all sides. Just like I do like if I was making a beef stew, an Irish beef stew. Don't crowd the pan, not too much meat in here. I don't have a lot of pots here. So, I'm going to use the slow cooker. As soon as that meat is done, I'm going to take the finished pieces, I'm going to put them in the slow cooker. I'm going to put them with a little bit of the stock from the pork stock that we've been making all day. And I'm going to let that cook down for about an hour, 2 hours, give or take, in the slow cooker. I'll put it on high because I'm here. And then we're going to wind up with this beautiful pork mixture that is going to get cooked again for another 20 or 30 minutes when we put it inside the filling and we get ready to boil those off. Pasteles, at least of the ones I used to have, did not have at least 1 or 2 Goya olives in it. The manzanilla olives, the Spanish olive stuffed with minced pimento, had to have that in there. That's a flavor you have to have that little bite in there. And the second thing was, I couldn't find Goya hot peppers, but I was able to find another brand that's very similar. These tiny little hot peppers. And we would take half of the batch would be picante or hot, the other half would be just plain, so that the kids could enjoy them. That has to be in each and every pasteles. The other thing that has to be in each and every pasteles is a garbanzo bean, or a couple of garbanzo beans. Usually 3 garbanzo beans, 2 olives, and if we want pica, we put 1 or 2 of the picante peppers in there. So that's going to become all part of our assembly line after this meat mixture is boiled itself down to become luscious and delicious. So let me cook off the rest of this meat, get it into the slow cooker, which is going to cook for at least an hour, and we'll be back. Okay, I'm almost done searing off all of the meat. The rest is back here in the slow cooker with the stock, the pork stock. I have a bundle of cilantro here that I'm going to take, and I'm going to take some butcher's twine, maybe about a foot, and we're going to cut it off, and I'm going to tie this cilantro just by wrapping it up like this, nice and tight, with the butcher's twine. And we're going to throw that in that back pot with our meat mixture that we seared off and threw in the pork stock. Just like that, we're going to make a nice little bundle of the herbs. And it's going in the pot. Let's get to this. I'm going to clean up a little bit. I'm going to cook off the rest of our meat, get it in there to cook, and we'll be back in about 45 minutes. Okay folks, we're back. Our pork mixture is completed. It's delectable. I've tried it. The flavor profile was right on. Our masa, or the pastele part, the paste part, the flavor was off a little. It was a little too sweet. So I went out and I got a couple of more green plantains and one more yucca, and I ground that up and put in, and I boiled off a test piece, and now the flavor profiles are right. And now we're at the point where we're getting ready to assemble. Now, you have your choice. You can use aluminum foil to wrap these up. You can use parchment paper to wrap these up, or a special craft paper available at most Spanish markets. Or the absolute ultimate, if you can get your hands on them. I almost thought the only way I was going to get some of these is if I grew a banana tree out back. But I did find, these are banana leaves. And this batch happened to have been frozen in one of the central markets out here. So we're very lucky to have these, and I'm going to use the banana leaves because it does impart a nice flavor to the finished product. So, that being said, I'm going to take out one of the banana leaves. They're absolutely huge. These were previously washed and frozen. So it's a little stiff, but not too bad. And don't worry if it rips. Look how big these are. Okay, there's our banana leaf. Isn't that amazing? Okay, we're going to use our banana leaf. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut a piece about the size of that piece of foil there. So we're talking what, about 8.5 by 11, almost like a sheet of paper. And the ends are very rigid, so you got to cut them. You can't just tear it. You go to tear it, you're gonna rip the whole thing. The ends, just the ends of the tough part. Okay, so here's our banana leaf, and we're going to take our banana leaf, and we're going to take some of the oil. I'm going to zoom in and get you closer. Again, another time when it's more important you see what I'm doing than look at my beautiful face. So I have some of the oil from the pork as it cooked down, and it has a beautiful flavor and a beautiful aroma. And we're going to put that in the middle of our banana leaf, just like this. I'm going to spread that oil. Normally you would do this with the achiote, which is a seasoned type of oil. But since I can't get my hands on achiote, this is the best we can do. Then we're going to take a spoonful of our masa, lay it out in the middle, and we're going to make a little bit of a well. Okay? And then we're going to take and put some of our garbanzo beans, a couple of olives, some of our pork mixture. We're going to take that pork mixture, and then we're going to just use the spoon and fold over the well so that we seal the meat inside of the pastel. Just like that. And you want a nice, what is that, about a 4.5 inch, 5 inch square package. Lovely pastel package. Now, we're going to roll this over like this. Roll it over thus, like this. And then fold the ends up, just like that. Craft string, I happen to have a piece right here. Now, I tied a loop at the end of this one so that it can slide back and forth easily enough. Wrap it around the outside. And we're going to pull it tight, just like this. And then we're going to go around once. And then we're going to turn, go around that way. Turn, go around this way. And then tie it off in the center. I have even put this inside of saran wrap because as long as you're not at a full tilt, going crazy, rolling boil, this is going to stay just like this neat little package that we have. I hope you're seeing this. And then what you do is you take, and I have some nice medium simmered water that had already previously boiled, and we're going to take this. I threw the ends of some cilantro in there, wrapped in a little bundle to flavor the water a little, and I'm just going to drop this in for about 45 minutes to an hour. While that's cooking, I'm going to make up a bunch more bundles and put them away. If you're going to serve them, that's fine, cook them. If you're going to freeze them, they freeze excellently. Put them in the freezer uncooked. It works a lot better that way. This way you just take them out, throw them in the boiling water, leave them for 45, 50 minutes, an hour, and your pastels are perfect every time. So, we're gonna let that cook off. I'm gonna start wrapping up some more of our pastels, and we'll be back. A little side note. I happen to get lucky and got quite a few packages of these banana leaves. If you've got a lot of pastels to make and you don't think you're going to have enough banana leaves to carry you through, you can take and just cut a strip as large as the pastel and wrap it around once, and then wrap it in the foil or in the paper and cook it that way. That'll still impart some of this nice, beautiful banana flavor. So, just another little tip for you to take home. Okay, an hour's gone by. I'm going to pull out one of our pasteles that's been cooking away. It looks good so far. The smell of this banana leaf is amazing. It has a fruity, yet savory element to it. Okay. That's what she's supposed to look like, just like that. A beautiful Puerto Rican pastel. And now, my favorite portion, of course. When I get to try the fruits of my labor. So, I'm going right for the outside here. I love when this outside piece gets a little thin, and it's like the firmest of the whole pastel. That right there is a real pastel. Do try the recipe. Play around with it. Have some fun. I happen to like to add the hot peppers to mine. This one does not have it. And if not, you can use also a Tabasco. Tabasco goes very well with this. And they usually serve it with rice and beans. So make some up, have it at your next party, and I hope you learned something. Come back.